Good morning, everyone. This is Wanda again from Jesus Ministries, located at 1750 Osceola Drive in West Palm Beach, Florida. And I just want to finish up with Matthew 13. We were talking about the kind of soil that we are. So I'm going to go back to Matthew 13 in verse 7, 8, and 9. I'm going to read it to you from the New King James Version, and it says like this. And some fell among thorns. We're talking about the seeds that the sower sowed. And the thorns sprang up and choked them. But others fell on good ground and yielded a crop. Some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. Now the explanation of this goes on into chapter 13 from 22 to 23. And I'm going to read that as well. It says, Now he who receives seed among the thorns is he who hears the word, and the cares of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and he becomes fruitful. That's verse 22. And what I want to say about that is that there are people that hear the word. You know, they go to church for whatever reason, you know, whether they're stressing about something in life that's going on, or they were invited by a friend like I was. I was invited by a friend to go hear the word. And they receive the word, but then the thorns are those that those cares of this world. Okay, like for instance, I'll go. You know, I went to church and I heard the word, and it just brought me so much joy. And I went home, and the thorns of this world began to rise up. The cares and the deceitfulness of the riches, I've got to make money. I've got to make money. So, I've got to find a second job now, or even a third job. There are people that work 2 and 3 jobs because they just need to have this money. And that chokes away the good word. That chokes away, the hope that we have in Jesus. That chokes away the trust that we put in God to provide for all of our needs. Now here we are in our own pride. We want to provide for our own needs, and those are the deceitfulness of riches. And it chokes the word out of them. It chokes the truth out of them. And they become unfruitful. Right? That means that they don't grow in the word because they're so concerned about making this money and making, all this money so they can provide their own needs instead of allowing God to provide their needs. They got to have, this big house. They have to have the best car. They have to have the best name brand clothing. They have to have, and they have to have. What they really have to have is the word of God in them. And they become unfruitful. They don't grow. After a while, you know what happens when you leave an apple out in the sun? It dries up and it dies. And that's what happens. So the next one, talking about others fell on good ground and yielded a crop. The explanation is in verse 23 of the same chapter, Matthew 13. But he who receives seed on the good ground is he who hears the word and understands it, and who indeed bears fruit and produces some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. You hear the word and you understand it, and you begin to apply it to your life. And when you apply it to your life, it starts growing. You start bearing fruit. In other words, you start maturing. You start trusting in God, and you see that when you trust in Him and you allow Him to be Lord of your life, that He will provide all of your needs, sometimes miraculous ways. And when that happens, other people see it, and you start bearing that fruit, and that's bearing fruit 100-fold. Other people begin to see it. Other people begin to be inspired by it. Then they begin to imitate that example. You become a great example to others who want to see God working in their lives. They see Him working in your life, and they begin to apply those truths to themselves. And when that happens, other people begin to see their lives, and they begin to start imitating that. And it's such a joy to see the lives change because you were obedient, because you stayed in the word, because that seed began to bear fruit. So my friends, this is where we need to be. We need to be that good soil that when we hear the word, it just drops into our spirit, and it begins to grow and to flower and to bloom so that others can see it and as well bear that same fruit. Let's be that good let's be that good soil. Let's be that kind of soil, that kind of ground that flowers and blooms when the word is planted, so that others may be able to see it, and not just so they can see it and we don't get the glory. The glory belongs to God. God is the one who's going to get all the glory, because they're going to see God in you. And I pray that God will be seen in you. I pray that God is seen in me when people look at my life as well. So I just thank you all for listening. God bless you, and we'll see you next time. Be that good soil, okay? God bless you. Bye.